Waikiki Beach's dark waves reflect neon lights that illuminate an opulent Honolulu oceanfront eatery. In the shadows cast by a palm tree row, my pulse was pounding like a drum. I am 32 years old, and my name is Anna Bennett. The words that shake my world are captured by a little recorder that buzzes in my ear. My husband Ethan softly laughs, his voice cold as he plots with his mom Margaret. Anna doesn't stand out. He claims he will keep everything in the divorce. Margaret can't help but chuckle. Lauren is your future, my love, like a diamond amidst dust. No one else trembles when they hear this. Encircling me, my sister-in-law Chloe, whom everyone thinks is silent, her eyes glimmering with a secret message. We step out into the light when she gives us the signal to do so. I played the tape back and let the horrified crowd to hear their vile words. On Ethan's cheeks a flush has appeared. Margaret raises her wine glass as if immobilized. As Chloe aggressively marches forward, she doesn't even look like she needs a wheelchair. Shock and horror fill the air. What gave me the determination to break out from this web of lies when I was a defenseless woman? Let me tell you my tale in chapters. From my modest apartment, I can see the pinkish-blue glow of Capitol Hill in Seattle's neon lights, which throb outside my window. As Anna Bennett, a 32-year-old woman, I gaze upon what appears to be another person's life in the year 2023. When I was younger, I dreamed of being a solo artist who would compose emotional songs and perform guitar in dimly lit coffee shops, stopping strangers as they passed by. I laid down my guitar and took up a calculator to get a job as an auditor at a small financial firm downtown, since my dreams couldn't pay for college. While listening to a song I no longer sing, I execute mathematical computations every day. The importance of stability outweighs the thrill of pursuing my biggest aspirations. So I tell myself it's fine. At my core, though, I know that I am attempting to hide who I really am from the future version of myself. 2 years ago, I first met Ethan Harper in an art gallery in Pioneer Square. His infectious smile and sharp humor enticed me like a tune I couldn't turn off. In an effort to win over his family, he told me he had abandoned his life as a hip-hop dancer in college, where the music had liberated his spirit, to pursue a job in marketing. As he stood before me, I saw a dreamer who never lost touch with reality. As we strolled the waterfront late at night on our dates, his laughing melted the icy air of Seattle, and our love blossomed rapidly. When he proposed under the Space Needle, I was certain that we would build a life centered around love. So I said yes. I was disappointed since marriage wasn't what I had envisioned. Like unseen ropes, Ethan's relatives pulled me into their orbit of influence. Margaret Harper, his mother, and a former lawyer with a lethal gaze, examined me as though I were a contract that she may terminate. Her voice betrayed her harsh judgment as she complained that Ethan's clothing remained wrinkled. I would pretend to smile while folding clothes according to her exacting standards. Socks paired like soldiers, towels stacked by size, and I felt like I was constantly on trial at her Bellevue mansion, which was 20 minutes away from our apartment. Chloe, Ethan's younger sister, was 20 years old and had been paralyzed from the neck down due to a childhood fever. Her vibrant paintings of birds and oceans spoke louder than words, and she communicated with a letterboard while bound to a wheelchair. Initially, I was nervous and unsure of how to connect with Chloe, but her gentle gaze and subtle nods soon calmed me down. One afternoon, I helped her clean up her room while humming a classic tune. She wrote a musical note next to a heart her way of saying, "I see you." Spending time in her presence brought back a part of my previous self. At the wedding, Ethan went through a change. He stopped paying attention to me, the guy who used to give me record albums as gifts, and now he blames work for being late home. I eat supper alone, taunted by the neon lights outside. Margaret's suggestions were weighing heavily on my heart as her visits became more frequent. I began to wonder if I had ever been enough for Ethan, his family, and myself. Chloe, on the other hand, grounded me with her sketches and hidden grins. Little did I know she had the truth-telling device that could break my illusions of certainty. The days passed and my apartment grew increasingly foreboding, despite the blinking neon lights of Capitol Hill, Seattle outside. After our wedding, Ethan convinced me to quit my auditing job, saying that I had worked so hard to pay off my loans and deserved a break. I agreed naively, thinking it would give me a chance to discover the music I had buried deep inside. Instead, I became a slave to his family's conventions, playing the role of submissive daughter-in-law and devoted wife in our humble apartment, which was only a 20-minute drive from his parents' spotless Bellevue home. In the courtroom, Ethan's mother, Margaret Harper, spoke with the authority of a gavel. Whenever she spoke, she would suddenly appear, her intense stare scrutinizing our house like a health inspector. "The dishes aren't lined up correctly, Anna," she would say sharply, slicing through my false smile. I would frantically rearrange the dishes, trying to be precise so that she would praise me, but my hands were outpacing my brain. I had to fold towels end to end and sort laundry by shade, beginning with white, then pastels, and finally darks. Although I was familiar with orders, Margaret's version felt like an impossible exam. "Ethan's reputation depends on you," she would say, treating me like an afterthought in her son's life narrative. Ethan, the man who had once danced with me under the streetlights, started to disappear. His excuses were as weak as the morning mist over Puget Sound, and he would start work early and come home late. Under his breath, he would mutter, "Client meetings ran long," avoiding my stare. As I sat at our little dining table eating cold spaghetti, I tried to make sense of his anxiety by telling myself that his marketing work was more demanding than he seemed. But our mutual lack of speech grew more and more dissonant, like an unfinished tune. Whenever I asked him about his day, he would shrug and tell me, "Anna, go to work. Don't overthink it." His words pierced deeply, but I swallowed them whole, because I was too afraid to say anything else. A solace in that quiet suffering was Chloe, Ethan's younger sister. Her family claims that up to the age of 28, she was a reclusive enigma. It is said that a disease she had when she was 8 years old rendered her speechless and wheelchair-bound, confining her to a letterboard. The sparkle and wisdom in Chloe's eyes spoke a story all their own. Ignoring Margaret's disapproving glances, I would visit Chloe at the Harper's Bellevue house. While sitting at her window, imagined a world unfettered by gravity, where birds circled above and waves crashed on the shore, all on her sketchpad. I started secretly studying sign language while Ethan slept or stared at his computer. Even though all we spoke to each other in the beginning was hello and thank you, Chloe's subtle nod of the head and her infectious smile soon made themselves known. Afternoon tea with lavender was her favorite, so I took it to her. I put it down and sang a college-era ballad about shooting for the stars that I had written. With deft finger strokes, Chloe drew a guitar and a heart on her sketchpad. "You get me, don't you?" I signed while smiling. Her eyes gleamed as if we had deciphered a secret code, and she gave me the silent nod of approval. While I was still known as Anna, the woman whose heart still sung songs, those moments made me feel really understood, not as Ethan's wife or Margaret's pet project. Despite her family's portrayal of Chloe as a broken child, she was more like a lighthouse that guided me through the fog. However, Margaret's shadow was longer. "I don't know why Ethan chose someone like you," she remarked as I was tidied up Chloe's room one night. "Just because Chloe puts up with you doesn't mean I will." Her comments hit me like a slap, but I restrained myself from argumentating when I knew I would lose. As an outsider, I felt inadequate in comparison to Margaret's perfect, untouchable golden kid Ethan. When I informed Ethan about her comments, he would only respond with a, "That's just Mom," so I stopped notifying him. Deal with it. Thus I concealed my suffering beneath masks and meticulously arranged sheets. Following that, something changed. One night when I was really terrified, I found an old notepad in a box under our bed. The songs I had composed in my 20s, which were raw and bold, were within. As the words awoke a dormant hunger, I felt as if I had died of starvation. Even though Ethan was working late, the night after I managed to slip out to a Fremont dive bar for their open mic night, I walked confidently onto the stage guitar slung over my shoulder, and my hands trembled. The room went dark the second I strung the first chord. Just the few locals there, chugging inexpensive beer, was sufficient. My voice, delicate yet full of life, spoke of broken dreams and quiet rebellions. Following my performance, the soft but sincere applause seemed as natural as breathing. At last, my identity wasn't a secret anymore, even after all this time. The next morning, I told Ethan about it, my heart racing with hope. "I performed at this Fremont watering hole last night." His non-movement while staring at his coffee cup suggested he was fully engaged. His words to Anna, "That's adorable, but singing won't pay the bills," were like a slam in the door. Instead of raising my voice, slapping him, or demanding to know what became of the boy I loved, I nodded, my interest dwindling. Chloe and I became closer, and Ethan's kindness faded. No matter how many times I saw Margaret, I would ignore her pursed lips. Chloe's designs became more and more risky, depicting buildings with expansive entrances and soaring kites. She scribbled the word freedom on her pad, and I signed a document asking, "What are your dreams, Chloe?" The weight of an unidentified promise was heavy on our shoulders. Something began to jump out at me. Chloe's strangely calm hand motions, which didn't fit someone who was described as disabled, and the knowing stares she would offer me every time Margaret left the room. Was she trying to conceal anything? The thought kept popping into my head, even when I attempted to ignore it. Our marriage eventually snapped on a dark October night. Ethan came home with a stiff face and dropped a bombshell. My family's vacation to Hawaii is almost around the corner. We, my parents and I, just thinking about getting away quickly made my stomach turn. Our anniversary flight to Hawaii was scrapped because he got busy at work, according to him. He never lifted his eyes from the floor, so I never got an invitation. What about me, the person? My voice was shaking as I asked. He made a noise as he sighed. "You know, Anna, it runs in the family. Do not leave. You must stay and look to Chloe. Mom can't handle a lengthy journey." The words froze me, cutting harder than any of Margaret's blows. "Chloe's family as well. She might easily accompany you." Then I pushed. Ethan's jaw clenched. "A lot of moving parts. Are you okay with her?" "She trusts you," he said coldly, as if I didn't matter. My argument was cut short as the doorbell swung open. Margaret came charging in her raincoat, drenched, her hawk-like eyes fixed on me. Anna. I'm assuming Ethan has already discussed the idea. Chloe will be watched by you while we are away. Is everything fine? The intensity of her voice made me want to raise a protest. As I stood in our little kitchen, the neon signs outside served as a warning. No problems, I said, attempting to conceal my inner turmoil. Ethan trailed after Margaret as she left, her satisfaction clear in her nod. I apologize, Anna, he said as he stopped at the door. His apologies sounded hollow, like a soulless tune, but that's just how things are. I felt abandoned as the door slammed shut, cut off from the vacation and from the life I had imagined we had built together. In the afternoon, I went to the Harper's house with a plate of handcrafted lemon bars, Chloe's favorite, in my hand. As always, she was sitting by the window, but this time her sketchpad was gone. Her eyes were on me as she signed, "They left you, didn't they?" Her forthrightness shocked me. My throat tightened as I nodded. Got it, Hawaiian Islands. The expression on Chloe's face hardened. We have plans too, she anxiously signed. Their jaws will drop. All of a sudden, my heart was pounding. Plans. Chloe seems to have been saving her most recent fiercest smile for just this second. From under her bed, she plucked out a little package. Within were 2 plane tickets to Honolulu, one for tomorrow and one for her and me. Believing in me, Kate. We will utterly upend their life. She said, I've been ready. Asked, how? She stutters. I felt a surge of energy that I hadn't felt since playing guitar under the lights of a concert. I was sick of playing the perfect wife, no matter what happened in Hawaii. The room spun around me as I stared at Chloe. Despite everyone's suspicions, she was more than just an ally. She was a co-conspirator with me. In that very moment, I was ready to let loose and sing my heart out, with the Hawaiian sun beaming like a spotlight through the glass. The jet lands in Honolulu shortly after daybreak. My sister-in-law, Chloe Harper, is supposedly bedridden and unable to communicate, but here I am, 32-year-old Anna Bennett, sitting next to her. However, she appears to be an assured traveler, dressed in a baggy white shirt and pants with her hair pulled back and sunglasses resting atop her head. Rather than from the landing, I'm gripping the armrests because of what she told me last night in Seattle. Never has Chloe been deactivated. It's something she's concealed from her stepmother, Margaret Harper, who has exerted total control over her life since she was 10 years old. Quickly, my heartbeat quickens. I'm not only come to confront Ethan's mom and my spouse. It is my intent. Is the stage set for you to perform? Chloe signs while giving me a mischievous grin. Even though my stomach turns, I nod my head in agreement. Yesterday, when Ethan and his parents left for Hawaii, I was left to take care of Chloe. My job description has just changed. I'm now a conspirator in a plot that Chloe has been hatching for years. With a formal note, she pulls out her phone and shows me a reservation at the same Waikiki resort that Ethan's family is staying at. New edifice, she assures me, but the weight of what lies ahead continues to burden me. The resort's foyer is a whirlwind of tropical flowers and shiny marble, and we check in there. Chloe gestures for me to remain silent since the clerk is about to give us our keys in case anyone on staff overhears. As I think about this, I can't help but think about the waves smashing on the blue ocean which our hotel overlooks. I whisper to Chloe as I turn to her. You paid for this, right? Is that all flight, lodging, everything? With a serene yet ferocious smile, she removes her sunglasses. Money was left to me by my dad. my actual dad before he passed away. I was holding it back, waiting for the perfect opportunity. I look at her trying to put it all together. Chloe is born to Ethan's father's first wife, making her half-sister as well as his sister. Her stepmother, Margaret, treated her. I stutter as I ask, "Are you absolutely certain that they are completely unaware that we are here?" She pulls out her phone once again, this time to open a restaurant app. At the poolside restaurant this evening at 7 o'clock. Margaret had already scheduled their table for 6 o'clock, so I'm sure everything would be fine. Chloe nods in agreement. Great, my worries are jangling like a live wire, but her belief is a lifeline. I thought of everything. We decide to spend the day in our room eating crackers and mango slices while listening to the ocean breeze from the balcony. Despite Chloe's advice to calm down, my thoughts are racing. I can't stop thinking about Ethan's cold rationalizations and Margaret's critical comments. I'm facing the truth about my life's experiences, not just theirs. We will be prepared by 6:00 p.m. Chloe puts her hair in a ponytail and puts on a shimmering emerald silk jacket. I go for a navy dress, simple yet striking the cloth. Feeling refreshing on my flesh, we appear distinct, not like the Seattle ladies they disregarded, but like a pair of aggressors about to launch an attack. On our way to the eatery, Chloe gives me a little squeeze. "Anna, keep your cool. They will be shocked. Let them fall apart." With a racing heart, I give the signal. The air is heavy with laughter and salt as the poolside restaurant lights up under strings of lights. We duck behind a palm tree row and disappear within earshot of Ethan's family dinner table. I take a deep breath. Ethan, Margaret, Richard, Ethan's dad, and an unknown woman all stand there with an arm over Ethan. "Lauren, that's her," Chloe whispers. "Earlier this month, I caught a glimpse of Margaret's phone. They called her the backup plan, and the idea makes me sick." As she leans against Ethan, a young and well-groomed Lauren laughs with a smile that used to make me sick. Margaret raises her wineglass in an arrogant gesture. Just as I'm about to drown, Chloe hands me a little recorder with a wireless earphone. Under the table before they sat down, she buried it. She whispers. Their voices smacked me like a slap as I put the earpiece in, instructing me to listen. "She has never been worthy of you, Ethan," Margaret notes with a venomous tone. "Class and ambition are non-existent." Ethan replies with a cool, calculated tone that getting a divorce with Anna will be good for you. "Mom, I'm making an effort. Our lawyer has suggested that we claim she's emotionally distant." Lauren laughs, making it clear that she won't have to pay her anything. "She sounds eerily familiar lingering in your home," Margaret says with a nasty, bitter laugh. "Lauren, she's as insignificant as ash next to a flame." I say, my voice quivering from the anger and betrayal building up inside me as I remove the earpiece. Our eyes meet, and Chloe's unbreakable gaze fixes on me. Right now, her signature follows. As I nod, a frosty smile spreads over my lips. Right now, I can feel the timber deck rattling under my feet as we come out of the shadows. The restaurant is full with life, but as we go closer, the tables surrounding us get quiet. Ethan looks up the second he hears his fork crash on his plate. I stand tall, my voice echoing in the warm night. "Everyone enjoy the evening. Are you on vacation with your family?" "Anna the Great, what on earth?" he exclaims, his voice breaking. Margaret looks up in disbelief as her wineglass hovers in the air. Lauren watches as her hand falls from Ethan's arm and Richard makes an awkward movement, asking, why are you here?" Ethan stutters out the question. Before I can say anything, Chloe walks boldly ahead. She takes a seat across from Margaret, her movements elegant and deliberate. The restaurant is abuzz with a gasp. When Margaret's glass breaks, it splatters wine all over the tablecloth. Her voice is low and whispery as she asks, "Chloe, are you walking?" Warm smile on Chloe's face. "Come on, Margaret. We've been hanging out and going on walks for years. I purposefully made myself appear like a burden so you wouldn't get furious at me." Whispers from the crowd cause heads to turn. Ethan looks between us nervously. I grab my phone, open the recording app, and hit play. A devastating hammer blow to their relationship is delivered by Ethan's response, which reads, "I won't owe her a dime." Margaret's raucous laughter interrupts the speaker, and Ethan's remarks follow suit. While some diners gaze, others snap with their phones in hushed tones. Ethan stands up with a squeal. "And disgrace. Anna, please disable that." I stare him down without fear. "You have been humiliating me for years." "Ethan, even if it hasn't been public, I am sick of being your ghost, and my voice is clear and unwavering." Chloe lets forth a sharp, distinctive scream as Lauren manages to elude capture. "Sit down, Lauren. You're in deep too," Lauren remarks, her face turning pale as she finally stops talking. Last but not least, Margaret lets out a terrified and defiant squawk. "Anna, I think we can explain." Shortly after saying, "No need," I cut off all further discussion. I'm sick of it. In addition, I own proof. My attorney is going to be overjoyed when Ethan, stooping down, grabs my phone even though I raise a hand to stop him. Ethan exclaims, "No way, you're already in over your head." His face turns red from shame and rage as he declares, "I'm going to die because of you." "Hey, no way, Ethan. That was actually done by you. I'm only revealing more." I respond calmly and grin despite his angry words. There are 3 individuals who suddenly appear. The restaurant manager, 2 security guards. One of them has a friendly but stern expression, and Ethan, who tries to speak up but is silenced by everyone watching, including his father and the wait staff. "We need you to leave," they say, and Ethan, in a state of exposed manhood, lets them lead him out. Margaret, whose strength is dwindling like sand, stays motionless, her fists clenching the table. Chloe watches with a subtle sense of triumph. As Lauren disappears, her head lowered. Turning to face Chloe, I don't feel the need to say a word. It's as if I'm finally standing in the sun, despite the flickering neon lights above us. I'm ready to accept the truth now, and it's more than simply the end of lying. As the warm night breeze carries us back to our hotel room, Chloe and I bid farewell to the neon lights of Waikiki. Leaving the neon lights behind, my heart feels lighter, as if a burden I didn't know I was carrying had been lifted. Despite this, my hands are still trembling from the encounter. Memories of Ethan's terrified face, Margaret's shocked silence, and Lauren's hasty escape play like a recently completed song. Chloe gives me a subtle yet furious smile as she places her arm around mine. The rubble is still fresh from tearing down a house of deceit, but I can already feel the start of a new chapter in my life. The gloomy fall drizzle that meets me upon my return to Seattle does little to quench the passion that Chloe kindled inside me. My time is not wasted. An old college acquaintance of mine suggested Sarah Mitchell, a divorce attorney, so I contacted her first thing in the morning following our arrival. She speaks with the steady assurance of a lighthouse during a storm. As we meet in her Belltown office, the rain-streaked windows let in a faint glimmer of the city's neon signs. I expose it all: Ethan's treachery, Margaret's manipulation, Lauren's function as the backup plan, and the tape that caught their animosity. Swiftly gliding her pen across her notepad, Sarah attentively listens. She responds, "You've got a strong case." Anna, with a mix of kindness and a piercing gaze, "We can use them then." "Sarah, I want justice." My resolve hardens as I nod. "In any case." She says it with a bright expression on her face and an expression of pure love in her eyes. I was expecting Ethan to bring legal counsel, but the evidence is irrefutable, and Sarah plays chess like a pro over the next weeks as she plots out a way to make them pay for what they did. She gathers a stack of documents, including receipts from a hotel in Hawaii, text messages that Chloe retrieved from Margaret's old phone, and photos of Ethan and Lauren from a resort. Every word is damning, and the tape is our ace. I was ready for a showdown, but he caved so quickly. The court's decision is clear and conclusive, delivered 1 month later. Half of our funds and half of our apartment's equity are to be divided between the two of us according to Ethan's court ruling. A nasty pill for a man who believed he'd leave me with nothing. Spousal support for 3 years hit him as well. The judge slapped Lauren with a large reparation sum in a civil proceeding for alienation of love. The initial deposit doesn't make me gloat, since money isn't everything. It's like I'm finally speaking up. I'm no longer going unnoticed. After the story broke, Ethan's image took a major hit, and his marketing business fired him. After her manipulative techniques are exposed, Margaret, who was formerly queen of control, becomes a pariah among her social circle. Richard Ethan's dead hot. Simultaneously, Chloe leaps. With the help of a friend, she relocates to Portland, Oregon, where she may finally enroll in the graphic design program of her dreams and live in a bright loft. She extends an invitation to my first art exhibition, a modest gallery event in Portland's Pearl District, a few weeks subsequent to the court verdict. The Cascade Mountains stand sentinel on the horizon as I make my way down. The gallery has a welcoming atmosphere adorned with Chloe's energetic paintings. Each canvas showcases her boundless spirit, with kites soaring and waves roaring. Her smile and sparkling eyes welcome me with an embrace. "You're the reason I'm here, Anna," she says, her hands moving with precision as she signs. I smile and shake my head. "No, Chloe, you aroused curiosity in us both." I follow Chloe as she leads me to a small stage where a microphone is set up after the concert concludes. Signing Sing, she wears a mischievous smile. Since that Fremont open mic night was so long ago, my heart skips a beat. Nevertheless, I am propelled forward by Chloe's nod and the enthusiastic looks on the audience's faces. I put my fingers on a borrowed guitar and feel a comforting familiarity as they glide into the strings. I now perform a new song that I wrote in the quiet after Hawaii, which is about emancipation and light. After an initial shake, my voice becomes steady and audible throughout the room. As I finish, the applause is soft but sincere, like rain on a parched plain. Chloe claps with more intensity than everyone else, and her pride is brighter than a neon sign. Reconstruction will start after I get back to Seattle. Due to the desolate atmosphere of the apartment I shared with Ethan, I made the decision to move to Belltown, which is closer to the action. Consulting work is heating up for me as a result of my rejection of limiting opportunities and my acceptance of more demanding assignments for clients I enjoy. As the neon light outside my window provides inspiration instead of criticism, I remove the guitar from its case and pick it up again continuing to write late into the night. I'm not the same Anna who used to fold Margaret's towels or wait for Ethan's approval. I embody the self-reliant Anna who discovers her passions and goes with her gut. That freedom isn't only about moving, it's also about making. That is what I took away from Chloe's show. She has been sending me pictures of her latest bold ideas, which are a breakthrough toward her lifelong dream for some time now. Not as sisters-in-law, but as two independent women who refused to conform to conventional wisdom, we had many conversations. Her courage motivates me and guides my choices, even after they are freed the past Ethan's betrayal. Margaret's cruelty clings to the present. The scar is physical evidence of my victory in the fight. Looking out my new apartment window, I can just feel the promise of the neon lights of Seattle dancing across Puget Sound. It has been 3 months since the court ruling. I, Anna Bennett, a 32-year-old woman, am standing on my balcony with the sea breeze tangled in my hair. My top floor flat, with its big windows and creaking wood floors, was my reward for working hard and making my own decisions. Who I am now is quite different from the one who would patiently await Ethan's fleeting adoration or who would fold towels to bring Margaret Harper joy. Now that I am free, no song I have ever sang can compare to the taste of emancipation. My days now have a pattern. I have maintained a steady stream of customers seeking my financial consulting services by accepting assignments that captivate me and turning down those that try to limit me. At night, my instrument comes to life again, its strings carrying melodies that I thought were departed. My latest Spotify release is an extended play EP with 4 solo tracks. Even if the streams are little, it's as if someone I don't know is listening to my heart with every play. Being true to myself is more important to me than becoming famous. The neon signs outside my window, which were once a depressing reminder of my loneliness, now appear as a rousing cheer encouraging me to keep going. Chloe is thriving in Portland, where she is attending school for graphic design. The endless passion is evident in the photo after photo of her latest work. Beautiful posters and murals that she texts me. Despite our shared surname, we are more than just sisters-in-law. We are sisters in the struggle for existence. We sip coffee and sign meaningless phrases like "freedom rocks" till our fingers bleed every time she visits. Her courage in waiting for the right moment to demonstrate her might taught me that power isn't always audible. At times, all it takes is a composed resolve to pen your own story. As I water the plants on my balcony on a tranquil Sunday, the doorbell rings. By the time I open it, Ethan and Margaret had shrunk to ghostly figures within. The hollows of Ethan's eyes and his sagging cheeks betray his exhaustion. Margaret, who was once a controlling whirlwind, now seems frail in her cuffed coat. Ethan starts quietly, "I know this is sudden, but we need help," and I wait my palm on the doorframe immobile. He had an accident. My employment was terminated following the legal proceedings. Upon Lauren's departure, I possessed zero. We have used up all of Mom's money. We are completely out of options. Margaret and I meet red, vacant eyes. It was my fault, Anna. Time is slipping away like a forgotten note, and the strain is high. We could really use your assistance. Tip my head as I say it, in a quiet but resolute voice. With a quiver in his voice, Ethan replies, "It's funny. You two were the ones I asked for a little generosity from once. Now look at you demanding something you never promised." With an unflinching tone, I brutally cut him off. "Anna, I know you hate me, but I've changed. Just a little help. I kept going. You aren't hated by me, Ethan. Sorry I squandered my time on you. That's all I can say. Margaret flinches, and I still haven't finished. I'm not heartless. I say my smile as calm as summer sky. The significance of limits has just now been brought to my attention. As I close the door and set off on my solo adventure, their pleas for rescue are overpowering my own. A little container of sea salt is emptied onto my balcony and sprinkled around the threshold as a ritualistic and symbolic act. I am determined not to allow my past to control my present. As the sun sets, turning the sky a fiery orange, the neon lights below shimmer like stars from within. I curl up on my couch, holding a blanket that Chloe brought me. The threads on it symbolize the strength we have as a group. Even if it doesn't have a perfect conclusion, my heart can finally relax since it is mine. Letting go of a past love and rekindling the love I have for myself is, in my opinion, more powerful than clinging to a past love. Read my story if you like. Anna Bennett have ever felt trapped, invisible, or unworthy. It will show you the way. The fact that the opinions of others do not matter when determining your worth is the most crucial lesson I have learned. I let Ethan's and Margaret's criticism and neglect to mold me into someone I wasn't, so I hid for a long time to fit their expectations. Until I got up there in that Waikiki restaurant, I had no clue how important I was. Ignore the doubters and do what makes you happy because you are enough. Second, the truth will liberate you regardless matter how bad things go. Facing the betrayal of Ethan and the secret of Chloe was excruciatingly painful, but with that realization, I could rewrite my life's narrative. Pay attention to your physical cues that anything is awry. Do not be afraid to ask the hard questions, even if you fear the answers. Recognizing the truth is the first step towards healing. Thirdly, appreciate people who make an effort to find you. A guiding light in the night was Chloe's unfaltering trust in me and her modest bravery. When you feel like giving up, it helps to be among other upbeat individuals. With the unwavering backing of a true friend, anything is possible. Lastly, keep pressing for your passions. They will stay forever. Getting back on my guitar and singing the songs that meant the most to me lifted my spirits. No matter how much you try to put your artistic or musical aspirations on hold, they will eventually return. You won't believe how far you can go if you start doing something, no matter how small, right now. In my view, life isn't about holding on to things that cause you pain. Letting go is necessary to find your light. When you make a conscious effort to honor yourself in all of your decisions, you win. So gather all your bravery and write the story you want to be a part of.